stop. Before we get started with this quick set, have you seen Apprenticeship Myth Busting Part 1? Watching it first is a must. Our skills leader, Roxanne, walked you through the basics of apprenticeships and busted some very common apprenticeship myths. This quick set is entitled Apprenticeship Myth Busting Part 2, The Apprenticeship Journey. My name's Kai, and along with some very special guests, I'm going to take you through everything you need to know before, during, and after your apprenticeship. I'd like to start off by introducing you guys to our skills leader, T. T, how are you doing today? You okay?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Do you mind just introducing yourself to our amazing Apprentice Nation family and just give us a little bit of a summary on the apprenticeship that you recently completed?
Yeah, sure. Hi guys, my name is T and I'm an apprentice graduate. I did my level 3 business administration apprenticeship with a company called Multiverse whilst working for the NHS, and I'm still there now.
Okay, gonna give you the rundown of how today's gonna go. Series of 3 questions, right?
Yep.
First one will be based on things just before your apprenticeship, the second during, and then the final question will be steps on after your apprenticeship. How does that sound?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ready to go?
Let's get it.
All right, great, brilliant. Okay, question number 1. I know as a former apprentice myself, I was extremely apprehensive before my apprenticeship. Didn't know what to expect, didn't know how to make myself stand out. I'd love to know from yourself, T, what are things that you did to ensure that you stood out when you was applying to apprenticeships?
That's such a good question. It's so important as an applicant to stand out academically and also outside of the workplace. So for example, I was a cadet, I was a dance teacher, I'm a youth leader. So making sure I'm a part of different communities so that when I'm in interviews and they're asking me questions, how do I show that I can do teamwork? How do I show good communication? I've got different answers that show a variety of things that are like my skills and abilities. So yeah, I always encourage people to really try and have hobbies and interests outside of the workplace.
Amazing, I love that answer, T. That's actually quite interesting what you said. I recently actually met up with Victor. Victor is another former apprentice and he gave quite a similar answer. I think now would be a great time to segue into that conversation to find out how he sets himself apart when he was applying for apprenticeships.
I decided to get some extracurricular just so that my online CV looks it stands out, especially for the route that I was going into, which was recruitment. I went to a radio centre where they do internships, and I got a bit of experience there, got a bit more confidence speaking, planning, so that when I did get to the interview stage, I had a bit more experience to talk about.
Nice, I like that. I like the fact that you took the extra step as well to get you where you wanted. You also mentioned that you chose obviously recruitment. There are an array of industries to get into with apprenticeships.
Yeah.
Why did you choose recruitment? What made you go down that route?
For me, I like interviewing, like kind of like what you're doing right now. Like I like to get to know people, get to know a bit about themselves, their background, their story. And I think doing radio kind of made me realize that this is the route I want to get into. I just knew that I wasn't really clean cut yet, and I knew that this route would have like taught me how to do all the planning and all the preparation and all the research I needed to do to get to that stage. And doing this an apprenticeship in recruitment, you've got to get a lot of transferable skills. So I just knew that this was the right route for me.
Amazing. Well, I think now is probably time for question number 2, T. All around during your apprenticeship, okay? Again, I think we can share the same energy in feeling overwhelmed during your apprenticeship as well. It's quite a lot to deal with. I'd love to know from yourself, during your apprenticeship, what did you do to make sure that you were supported, or did you even feel supported?
Yeah, I mean, during my apprenticeship, I had my coach, I had my line manager, I had other apprentices that were on the program with me. And honestly, I never felt like I was once by myself during my apprenticeship. And it's totally understandable. I mean, imagine I'm coming from a school background, straight into the working world. Sometimes it does feel like you're going to do it by yourself, but you're going to get the adequate training, you get support, and you are treated like any other new employee. So there's nothing really much to worry about, and every day is a learning day, and you won't be trained up on everything on day one. I mean, I think of some of my responsibilities right now. I can do a highlight report. I'm booking things for directors sectors.
that,
And
yeah.
if you told me on day one that's what I'd be doing, I'd look at you like,
Are you crazy?
Yeah, but all in good time.
Yeah,
So
of
it's
course.
one step at a time and always asking for help.
T, we'd love to know actually, what were some of your biggest challenges as an apprentice?
I think first things first was transitioning from being a student to working full time. As an apprentice, you're expected to spend 20% of your working week doing your assignments, submitting work, catching up with your mentor, your coach. So balancing that alongside your workplace responsibilities can be a lot sometimes. But over time, you kind of learn time management, prioritization, but that's something you have to learn whilst you do. So
Yeah.
I'd say that's a big challenge. And I'd say the second challenge is definitely earning a big salary. I mean, imagine at 18 years old, you have a large salary, you're paying your pension, and it's that balance between using your money responsibly, investing in yourself, saving, and then also spending money doing the things you've always wanted to do and enjoy. So for me, that's things like traveling, even doing adult gymnastics classes.
Yeah, good for you.
So yeah, just striking that balance can be a challenge, but over time, you kind of learn. So,
Yeah, amazing. I know you recently actually caught up with some multiverse coaches. Let's actually find out about how they support their apprentices during their apprenticeships.
On the People Leadership course, we've got strengths tools, personality tools, and what happens is that those tools help the apprentice to understand their strengths and their weaknesses and where they can be harnessed. And as a coach, I take that data and then cultivate their abilities. So as a coach, my job is to get the most out of them. So if they come to me with a problem, I can solve it. If they come to me to try and navigate an issue that they don't understand, they can come to me. If they are struggling with a management issue or even a separate issue academically from the workbook, I can support them with that.
I support apprentices with group coaching sessions where I ask particular questions to really find out what the goal is for them and really help them think about what it is they want to achieve. I then explore options with them and help bring out their own perspective on how they can solve their own problems. And at the end of it, we always have an action. What action are they going to take forward in achieving that goal? Every program is different. For the People Leadership program, we meet over Zoom, and there we will meet every week. There's also opportunity to drop in, so office hours, where apprentices can book time to just have a one-to-one meet with their coach, i.e. me. And so we can discuss any issue they might be facing, any challenge, and actually how they can progress forward. Also meet every week for deliveries, but there'll also be a time where apprentices can just work on their workbooks, and then we'll have a feedback session.
Special thank you to our multiverse coaches again for your answers. I know when I was an apprentice, my coach definitely supported me loads. How did you get support, T?
both virtually and in person, I got to socialise and be supported by other apprentices. So yeah, it's just building that community with others around me. And then the other thing was the networks that were available. I mean, I think there was something for everybody. There was the multicultural network, there was part of the women's network, the LGBTQ plus community. So I believe that there is something made for everybody there, and it's just a case of just putting yourself out there and trying to make those relationships. Plus, there was nothing stopping us apprentices from linking up together, meeting up, going out. So yeah, I definitely felt supported by building my little social circle.
I love that, and it's important as well because I think as well in apprenticeships, a lot of people get scared about not having the element of socialising because in university we all know about, you know, the social element, but you can still have that with apprenticeships as well, right?
Absolutely, yeah, 100%.
Amazing. Well, T, I think it's a nice time to move on to question 3, which is all about after your apprenticeship, okay? I'd love to know from you, what did you do, and do you have any tips that you can share with our Apprentice Nation family about how you prepared yourself for those next steps for after your apprenticeship?
That's a very good question. I'd have to say I tried to stay prepared throughout my whole apprenticeship. And one of the things that my line manager and I did was have a weekly log. You would be so surprised how many responsibilities you forget by the time you come to the end of your apprenticeship. So I'd keep a weekly log of all the new things that I've learned, all the training that I've done. So when it was time to apply and write my CV, it was just picking out the best examples that showed a variety of skills and abilities that I learned. And I think about 3 months towards the end of my apprenticeship, we sat down, we did a personal development plan. We looked at the type of jobs that I wanted to apply for, and we especially focused on the skills that I was missing. And then my line manager gave me responsibilities that could evidence that, you know, I know how to lead a team, I know how to do teamwork, I know how to communicate. By the time I came to my interviews, I was ready.
Jeez, I love that, T. Well, do you know what? Well done again, honestly. I know what it's like getting through an apprenticeship. You've killed it. You're part of the working world. Well done to you, man, honestly. I'm now joined by another former apprentice, Tom Cully, who just recently completed his apprenticeship. Hey Tom, how are you doing today?
Hey, no, I'm really well. Thanks for having me.
Good, good. Do you mind just quickly introducing yourself to our Apprentice Nation family and just give us a little spiel on the apprenticeship that you just completed?
Yeah, for sure. Hi guys, thanks for tuning in. My name's Tom Cully. I was a networks degree apprentice at BT, working in our media and broadcast division. So yeah, all pretty cool stuff.
Sweet. Well, well done again, mate, for completing it. Well done to you. I guess my first question for you then, Tom, would be, what advice would you give to young people who are keen in getting into, the industry of apprenticeships?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fantastic question. And number one, you've just got to throw yourself into it. Say yes, right? I mean, I think there's both two ways of looking at it. From outside of an apprenticeship, saying yes and get in to an organisation where there are just so many opportunities to learn, and then say yes to those opportunities. Not just from a operational point of view and actually learning your job role, but actually learning the wider business, getting involved in developing your soft skills, speaking and presenting and all of those other things that make apprentices who they are. I mean, I've had some amazing opportunities within BT to present at kind of company-wide comms events, and also just get involved with the business and lead a team at one point as well, only for a few months, but it was great opportunities, and those come to people who say yes.
Definitely. And I think, like you kind of mentioned, there's so many avenues and so much exposure that comes with being an apprentice, right? I guess my second question then for you, Tom, would be, in terms of your career now, how would you say that an apprenticeship's helped you now that you've obviously finished and you're doing it without the apprentice label before your title?
Yeah, exactly. And again, another great question. And I think what's got me to where I am today is about being curious, about saying, okay, well, what is this? And asking those questions, which initially we might think are stupid questions, right? And we all do it. We'll go, oh, I can't really ask that because someone's going to make a comment or think that I don't know what I'm talking about or why I'm here. Everyone has a purpose. If you're on an apprenticeship, you are valued. And ask those questions. Be curious to develop yourself. I think also a lot of what I'm really grateful for and the development journey I've been on as an individual has been about the people I surround myself with as well. Not just in the workplace, but also in other networks. So I'm quite involved with the Apprenticeship Ambassador Network and care so much about going back into schools and building that network. And I've made great professional connections, but also really, really good friends. And friends are really, really important throughout this whole process, that social part of what we do.
Exactly.
But also I've partnered with our business with the BBC, so we've done some kind of BT to BBC apprenticeship visits and co-visits, which has been great. We're doing the same with VMware coming up this week.
Amazing. Well, Tom, honestly, just listening to you speak, I feel really inspired. I know I'm not an apprentice anymore, but I kind of want to be one again after hearing you speak, right? But honestly, mate, thank you so much again for your time and all the best on your professional journey.
Thank you so much for having me.
I think now will be a good time for us to play a myth-busting game I like to call True or False. I'll ask you a series of questions based on apprenticeships and their structure, and you'll have to answer either a true or false. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay, let's begin. Question 1. There are only 3 levels of apprenticeships. No, this is false. Apprenticeships have 7 levels and start at intermediate all the way to degree level. Feel free to take a screenshot of the table details with all the different levels. Question 2. There are support channels available for apprentices during their course. True. Even if apprenticeship providers don't have a coach system, many other providers have social and networking events where you'll be able to meet other apprentices and gain extra support from a professional and social perspective. Last but not least, question 3. Employers do not keep you on once your apprenticeship is finished. Ooh, bit of a trick question here. Companies don't guarantee permanent roles for apprentices. However, the majority of people do stay on once they have finished their apprenticeship. It just depends on your organisation and your role. If you're watching this video and you're thinking about getting into an apprenticeship, there are many apprenticeship providers out there. Here are just a few of them now on the screen that represent different job roles and industries. Also, if you're keen on finding out more, be sure to subscribe to the Apprentice Nation newsletter, where you'll be able to find all our latest apprenticeship news, events, resources, and much more. For one-to-one guidance, book some time with one of our many Apprentice Nation mentors who are on hand to provide you with practical advice on all stages of your career path journey. Good luck.